everybody. I'm Lisa with Lock and ENT, and we are here tonight with Critical Conversations. And our first episode is about politics and perspectives. Of course, everybody has their views on the politics that's going on right now in the government, and we're here to give you our perspective on what we feel that's going on. And maybe, other people see this and they want to jump in and tell us exactly how they feel. But tonight we have Gloria Talley, we have Evelyn Clay, and we have King Crank from Crazy Talk Radio. So Gloria, back to you.
All right, everybody. So what the conversation is going to be about, and I know a lot of people are going to just love this, it's related to Donald Trump and his beautiful ideas, suggestions, as well as, him trying to put certain things in place so that some things could allegedly be lost. One of the things that we will be talking about is the financial aspect of education. We're lucky to have Miss Evelyn on the podcast, because she has probably a lot to say in reference to that. Okay. We're also going to be discussing the viral video that went out referencing the assassination attempt. And what does this all mean? So, I think what we're going to do to start off is we're going to go ahead and start with the first video of the night, which is in reference to the executive order in which our dear president signed referencing education. Okay. All right, here we go.
Tonight, looking to keep a campaign promise.
I will sign an executive order to begin eliminating the federal Department of Education once and for all.
At a White House event with school children and Republican governors.
The Democrats know it's right, and I hope they're going to be voting for it, because ultimately it may come before them.
That's because this order may have little practical impact. Only Congress can abolish an executive agency, a move Democrats oppose. And the White House said today core department responsibilities like managing student loans and Pell Grants and supporting special education will be preserved.
Beyond these core necessities, my administration will take all lawful steps to shut down the department. We're going to shut it down.
But the American Federation of Teachers Union firing back, see you in court. The Trump administration cut the department's workforce in half last week, including terminating some 1,300 career employees. Katina Stapleton was fired after 20 years working as a research analyst.
I wanted to change things for students. And I'm sad that that just went away without really any consideration.
Tonight in Denver, teachers protesting, saying the cost cutting will hurt students.
He's showing where his priorities lie, and it's not with the children of our nation.
NBC's Morgan Chesky spoke to a special education teacher.
Our money's not where our mouth is as far as education goes.
Education is already largely a state and local responsibility. Just 8% of funding comes from the feds. Some state education officials are applauding President Trump's move to shift more power away from Washington. Frank Edelblue heads New Hampshire's Department of Education.
What we're essentially doing is optimizing the funds for the students, the parents, and the teachers by allowing these processes to get closer to where they are being used.
The White House pointed.
All right, everybody, we're going to stop right there. All right, so you all got an opportunity to kind of see the little bit of short. I would have played it longer, but that would have gone on for about a good 3 minutes, and I didn't feel like everybody had time for all that. So, Evelyn, especially when this deals with your department, tell us what your thoughts are on that.
Well, me working for a loan servicer and dealing with borrowers and their loans, in February, they had the federal courts place an injunction on anything that's saving on a valuable education and all the income-driven repayment plans that have hurt a lot of borrowers. The phones ring off the chain all day long. What am I going to do? I didn't recertify before that date. I can't afford those payments. Can I get a forbearance? Can I get a deferment on my account? I mean, help me out here. I can't afford these payments. And some of their payments, I've seen some that's like $1,000. I'm like, oh, yeah, we need to see if we can lower that. Otherwise, they can't pay it. So I've had angry borrowers on the phone because they don't even know what to do. Some of them are having financial problems. I mean, that's what happens. You go to school for all these years, then after you only get a 6 months grace period, and they're ready for you to pay these loans back, and you're not even working in the field that you went to school for, and then to tell me that you can't help me out, so I can at least pay a lower loan payment or maybe get them deferred for a little bit till I get financially on my feet. So it has hurt a lot of borrowers that have taken out loans over the years. They can't
Let
even,
me
some of them can't even get loan forgiveness.
Wow.
So,
Let me ask you this. So there was something you just now mentioned, because I mean, typically as a student, I'm not a student, but have been in the educational areas. The issue that I'm having is, so now, what are you telling us, that now they're not going to even allow you to come up with a budget to be able, a budget plan to be able to pay back these loans? Is that what you're saying? Or are they going to be so astronomical it's not even considered budget?
well, we do have options for them, but even if we can lower the payment, some of them can't even afford the payments that's going on. That's why they have the income driven payment plans, where some of them actually they had zero payment, but they still considered as a payment because they qualified for either economic hardship,
Right.
um, they might have unemployment. So we had those type of deferments and things, and some people qualify and a lot of people don't. They don't fit in the category.
I often wonder, would it be more people that would not qualify versus those that did qualify? Lisa, what do you got to say about that?
Well, I'm kind of up in the air about it because, like, I go to school right now. I have student loans.
Mm.
I mean, I have student loans, and I don't graduate until 26 and 27, 26 from one school and 27 for the other.
Hmm.
So what am I supposed to do? Am I even going to be able to continue my education come next year?
I kind of wonder in a way, and then Crank, I'm coming to you. I kind of wonder in a way, is this actually designed to get low income or people who may have lesser income or don't, or maybe can't reach the requirements that are necessary? Do you think that this is kind of designed to keep,
I think it's,
say,
I think it's going to hurt the minority community
mm-hmm,
the worst. I think it's going to hurt a lot of children that's coming out of high school.
mm-hmm,
Mm.
Um, it's going to hurt a lot of families that depended on these Pell Grants. It's going
mm-hmm,
to hurt a lot of teachers as well that depend on these students coming to school. We're not really thinking about the psychological aspects of what this causes to our
mm-hmm.
students, as well as I guess we would say, a community of people that look at all of these things going on. And when you look at all of it from a standpoint, you got to ask yourself, like, how does this help the economy?
Yeah.
And how does it
I
how
got
does
my
it help?
I got my stuff about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how does it what is all these budget cuts doing to help the economy? What are all these budget cuts doing to help the schools? What are these budget cuts doing to help, organizations like where Evelyn worked? What all these, budget cuts doing to help students like Lisa? What do it do? How do you guys benefit from it?
Well, I mean, Evelyn, I'm gonna let you answer that one.
I, I I'm
I
up in
know.
the air on that because I even have some of the borrowers that call me and say, I hope you have a job tomorrow. So I mean,
Right.
I just I feel for the younger generation, like he was saying, that's going to deter them from even trying to get a further their education because it's like we can't even afford it.
Right.
And then they
And
say
and a lot of
they,
these things that I think they're doing, I think it's a downplay on the former administration. Biden, he was all for debt forgiveness for students on
Mhm.
student loans.
Yeah.
Um, and we talk about wars in different ways and different likenesses. Do you think
Hmm.
this is a war on the minorities as well as students? Like, what are we going to be replacing schools with, or the programs with? Or is it just going to be made up for those that can afford to go to school? How
And
is it
that's
going to
what
be set
that's
up?
where I am, Crank. I think that's where my whole brain is at this moment. It's like, okay, so is this actually designed? And if so, how is it helpful? But is this actually designed for those who are maybe less fortunate? I'm looking at the people that would probably need some sort of, I mean, you think about it. You might have straight A students in college. I mean, not, I'm sorry, in the high school, getting ready to graduate. You know what I'm saying? And they may be able to get scholarships. You know what that part, I get it. I get
Right.
that. But when it comes down to people who have maybe 2.8, you know what I'm saying? A GPA, and they have to pay some money into the school systems in order to even get in there. So I guess my only question about that is like, so I just need to understand, is this designed to see the minorities fail?
Right. And that's the question that we must ask those that are in charge. You know, we need to really pose these questions to those that we vote for and put in these positions, to vote for these people, to put them in the position and make the decisions that they're making for us. And you know, my situation, or my question is how does it affect a child that's dependent on that schooling, that or those scholastic achievements going forward to try to be that generational gap breaker, you know, or that generational curse breaker for his family to go through school and achieve something, just to have that blockade right there going forward. Your family might not be able to afford to put you in school, but you was a straight A student. You know, what do it do for those students there? Where, you know, how or where are those programs, or how can we put those programs in play to generate the funds for these kids, you know, so they can have that?
Well,
I
keep in mind, he did say he took it away from being federal and he wants to put it back on the states. It's the state's responsibility.
Right. So who are we looking to in the states? Are we looking at the senators? Or are we looking at the mayors?
Or the governor? Who are we looking
Right.
at?
Right. You
Who's going to
know,
be
Because
in charge of that decision making? Or is
right.
he going to let them know this is what you need to do and this is what I'm expecting of you? You get what I'm
right.
saying? So we don't
Exactly.
even know if it's in their own mindset that this is what they in fact want. Lisa, what do you have to say?
what I was going to say is I understand when he's saying the younger generation, because I have an 18-year-old grandson that's looking to go back to school, looking to go to college in September, and then I've got one that's graduating next year that's looking to go to college. So where does that leave them if they don't have scholarships? I know the 18-year-old, he doesn't have a scholarship, so he's dependent on financial aid to be able to go to school.
But for yourself, what do you say for yourself as a person going to school? What does this do for you?
How does this
Or
affect?
how
Yeah,
does it
yeah.
affect you?
It's going to affect me majorly, because what if next year, well, what if when I apply for financial aid next year, or where do I apply for financial aid next year?
When does
I
this
mean,
all
right now,
begin?
right, you know, yeah, where, because right now, okay, I've already done my 25-26 year, which is still under the federal. So when it comes to 26-27, where am I going to apply?
Right.
I'm curious, Evelyn, Crank, and Lisa, just out of curiosity. So let's just say the not so financially adapt to what his thinking is. What about creating certain grants for the minorities, for, you know what I'm saying? Like creating the actual grants for those who don't qualify or can't qualify for financial aid, but they have the grades to prove that they need to continue on with their education in order to be the successful persons that they need to be. What do you think about that? Do you think that that's a possibility at this time?
Once again,
Well,
that comes back to like what we were saying. That goes back to it going to the state. Who in the state is going to be in charge of these programs? Now, I mean, are we depending on these nonprofit organizations
that's the question.
to present
Yeah.
these situations, or we still have to depend on the government for funding, right?
I mean, think about it. I
So how do you
almost feel
take it
like
out of
that
the
is the
hands of the
government.
federal?
I mean, that is the government. If you're just saying that the state will now have autonomy over the decision making when it comes down to the financial aid or financial whatever grants, whatever the case may be. That is government, no matter
Right.
what. Even though it's state, it's still government. So it's
Right.
still governed by the government, no matter what. So I'm just curious. Do you think that? I'm looking at what's going to happen. What can we do?
Can you
For
all
people
agree
like my
that each state
granddaughter,
has its
who's
own legislation?
mhm,
So if you leave it up to each state to use their own legislation,
Right.
then I guess you will make your own appointees.
True. We have your
that's a
own board.
majority rule, though,
Right.
isn't it?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
So
like
if
they
you
would
leave
have
it
to
up
make
to
up
the
their own
state,
board.
right. So if you're leaving it up to the state to do something, then you're putting it in the hands of pretty much anybody that can come up with the best solution to help the process. I mean, it still puts us back at the drawing board
We'll still
that
be
has
here at
no
the same spot
Right.
that we are right now.
Right.
And
How-
that's why I was curious as to whether or not if anybody thought that, I mean, just out of curiosity, how would this affect anything if say we reach if say someone outside of the state,
That's exactly
outside
where I
of
was getting ready to go.
okay, is the one who creates this.
But you got to understand, it's going to have to be within the state legislature here, because if you're talking about going outside the state, then you're talking about a one whole major corporation or entity or enterprise stepping up to take over.
That's what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
What's the
Mhm.
likelihood of that possible? What do you all think?
I can see that
It's going to
happening, but
affect.
I think the state will lose power because then you have to be on board with that organization's, I guess, what you would say, demands, or let's
Mhm.
say if I was the organization that was step in and be in charge of this, just coming up off the top of my mind, I would say, okay, for me to help students, we would need certain programs in play. We would need certain people. We would need the Evelyns in play and their companies that will help put in the infrastructure to get the people that the help they need for
Yeah.
once.
It's almost like turning it into a hedge fund.
Right.
That's kind of where I was in my thinking.
Mhm.
That's what I was
Yeah,
trying to hear
it's
from
just turning
everybody.
it
I
into a
wanted to
hedge
hear
fund.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
And the requirement will have to be met. Like, of course, the students will have to have a certain grade point average.
Of
Mhm.
course.
But I think a program should be put in play where the students that don't have the grade point average but have the potential
Have the desire.
and
Right.
the desire, exactly, have the potential and the work ethic, that they can be given a chance. But they at least have to be given a kind of rule or taking accountability to own up to their failures if they do not achieve those
Mhm.
goals that should be set.
Actually, technically, right now, to go to college, you only have to have a 2.0.
One second.
Right, but let's say if you enter in this program and you need to have that 2.0 grade average, but you have to sustain the average, or you have to meet the requirements to, I guess, be a part of a program. It's like because you have to if you're going to help everybody, you have to be able to have the system that weed out those that deserve the help versus those that potentially may hold back somebody else that could be using that help.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And if it's going state by state, how does that affect someone that wants to go to school out of state?
Right.
Exactly.
Right. See,
So,
that's the other. Yeah, that was. Yeah,
right. So
exactly.
you will have to have those programs, or like you would say, those partners or people in place to have that.
Mhm.
Because if you take it out the state's hands and you put it in a private organization, then you have to adhere to their rules.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, and it's like now, with it being dismantled and everything, I go to school out of state. I go to school in California.
Right. So then if you go to that school, then you're gonna have to go to adhere to their rules if they take over whatever they do there. So that they say, okay, for you to continue to go to school, you need to have this certain grade point average.
Well, I'm
Or
glad
you
my
need
grade
this
point
many
average is
credits.
3.8.
Ain't asked for nothing better today, you know what I mean? But let's just say, hypothetically speaking here, if they have any kind of rules or requirements in place, you always kind of got to play that as a factor. And then too, how does it still get taken out of the feds if they have to approve it for the billing?
I was
How
also
does the government still not be involved?
right. So I'm also thinking as well, you've got students right now that do go to school out of state, and part of their tuition pays for their housing to
Right.
stay on campus.
That's the other thing, right?
How's that going to be affected as well?
It's going to be
See, to me, it's all a triangle effect because it's like they're trying to take and privatize now
everything. Mm-hmm.
schooling.
Yep.
Or commercialize schooling to the point where is you're going Walt Disney going to be owning schools next.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
Which is
You
crazy.
know, because they got enough money to step in there and offer, it's going to take somebody with some money, they come in here and say, this is how we're going to clean this up.
Yeah.
Or some major celebrity group or some, like they doing all of these, they getting all these groups coming in with these casinos and things of these nature. They coming in
Things we really don't. Well, the casinos are supposed to be there to help create the monies that are needed.
Yeah, that's
But
what they
as
say.
we've seen in the last few years, they have shut some of that down and brought it back up and keep shutting it back down again. So when is it going to be like, you see, what we can't depend on anything, in my honest opinion, from what I'm seeing. It's like we can't really depend on what's being offered because we don't know when they're going to take it away.
Right. And we can't depend on the stock market.
No, because that's already dropping. That's falling.
Yeah, it's already up in shambles right now.
Right. I mean, look at what's going on with Elon Musk and Tesla. And we want to talk about Elon Musk. Let's get to this Doge subject. The thing that's going on with Doge is, to me, is I think it's on however it's a good thing, it's a bad thing. Okay. You're talking about weeding out the people that's taking advantage of working from home. What the problem with that is, you have people that have their life based around that. They've probably been doing this job before, any pandemic crisis came up. They were part of the government system. I know people now that have to get up every day from their home and go to get on the train every day, go to work now. They have to adjust their whole life and schedule around this. They get phone calls every day from the people that they're being affected by all of these changes versus their job being saved because they play a pivotal role. And and I'm talking about some of these social service workers that take a lot of the service calls to help people get their Social Security process. Like, it's a real attack on these system. And it's not just an attack. Like, people always like try to, I guess, colorify everything. And what I mean by that is when they say the word minority, it's attack on minorities, attack on minorities. But you got to look at it. It's not just minorities that are being affected by this. Elder people. A lot of elder people being affected by
Oh my God, yes. Yes.
Because they can't get the proper approval or the proper specialist on the phone now to help them get approved for SSI, Social Security, and disability.
What's crazy, Crank, is that, some time ago, years ago, well, not even years ago, not too long ago, to get approved for SSI wasn't as difficult as it is now. Now it's become a chore, if that makes any sense. It's like, okay, even though you may already have all the paperwork that supports the fact that this person is in fact disabled, say from their physician, now they're put in a position, well, let's go to court now because now we got to get this done this way. It's like, what are you doing right now? Because it seems like you're doing everything you can to discourage or to keep people from doing what they need to do. Because some people have been waiting on this disability determination for quite some time because they have to keep going back and forth, whereas that wasn't a thing at one point. So that's going to affect a lot of the older people. And I really think even in our age group at this point, I'm concerned. I'm wanting to know, will this even be a thing?
Yeah, like what's going to happen
10,
to
15
our
years?
Social Security in the long run? What's going to happen to our retirement? Like, I mean, since I've been working, I know they boosted or raised the retirement age limit.
Yep.
What was it prior to 57?
I have no clue. I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and lie. I have no idea, but I do know that they did raise it. But I also know that they're talking about cutting
You
it
say
too.
57?
It ain't no 57.
It ain't no 57. It's 60. Was 62?
Oh, you mean age
65.
wise?
It's
It's
always
65. Yeah, 65.
67 now, isn't it?
Now?
well,
65.
67, right?
Yeah,
It
67. They
was
just changed it to
65.
it was 65. Now it's 67.
Then it went to 67,
Yeah,
if I'm not
67.
mistaken.
Right. So I'm knocking
You
at that
got
door
another
close.
20
You know what I'm
years.
saying? And you
That
can't.
goes,
I
that
looked at
goes
my.
without saying. Like, you know, if you don't live, you don't work long enough, you don't get no money.
You're not gonna get it.
Well, let me tell you,
You're
I
not.
got my
The money you get ain't
SSI.
gonna be enough.
I got my SSI letter, and yeah, when I looked at it a couple of weeks ago, it said I said I can't retire till I'm like 70, 72.
Isn't that crazy? That's the crazy part. And by that time, will we
There's
still
not
have
going to
enough
be no. There's not
capacity
even
to
going to be no
operate
Social
a
Security.
job by the age of 72? I just
Yeah,
need to know because I
I
know
didn't pass.
mental health
Look, we didn't pass the
declines after a
30-year
certain length
work
of
mark.
time.
You got
Yeah.
now we got to work 40.
Yeah. Well, and there's no guarantee that there's even going to be by the time it's time for us to be able to collect.
Ain't even
There's not
guaranteed.
guaranteeing that there's going to be even any money in that pot for us to even collect.
That's the crazy part. So let me ask you this. Would it be smart right now, because of everything that we know, or what we feel we can see, let's put it that way, everything that we can see moving in that direction, because I do know that was part of the conversations from years ago, well, eventually that may be a thing of the past. Okay.
Yeah, take it
so
away.
I got a question. So what happens to our elderly? What happens to those who may have had true physical or mental health or some sort of disability? What happens to those people? When does it begin? When are you going to throw the axe down? Because that's how we're finding about everything else.
Yeah.
So when does the axe fall? So that, because at this point, you're not even giving us an opportunity to make plans. You know what I'm saying? We can't even plan anything because we don't know. Right. We don't know.
And when you have, like, for instance, when you have children that suffer from mental illness and they are on SSI from children into adulthood and they've never worked. So where's that going to put them if you dismantle all this stuff?
Well, that's the thing. That means that they would have to work. And then, God forbid, something happens because of their mental health issues or whatever disabilities. So what happens then? What happens? Are you going to terminate? Are you going to give an opportunity? What are you going to do? Because if you terminate, then you just killed everything. Their ability to survive is not going to happen.
Exactly.
It's pandemonium right now, and the problem that we facing is not seeing the change that they're talking about. They're making changes,
right?
But we're not seeing the results that they're talking about. It's like, we're going to cut the budget, we're going to do this, we're going to slice education, we're going to do all this. But what? Why? What are we doing it for? Where is it going?
Yeah.
And why did it have to be so fast? Why wasn't it increments?
Yeah,
exactly. And why
did it have to happen within the first 400 days of your?
And why those departments?
That part.
Yeah.
Because what's going to happen is he's just doing all this dismantling of this, that, and the third. So when he goes out of office in a few years, and the next person that comes in, where are they even going to be able to start to even try to fix any of this? If they're even going to even have be able to fix it?
Hey, you didn't hear? You didn't
No,
hear?
he's not getting a third term, and we're
You
not
didn't hear?
the Constitution. We are not changing the Constitution.
But he can pull an executive order and stay right there in office. So how about that one?
Wow.
Well, you know, it was a saying going around that, you know, he was going to be the last president. So
he did. Hey, that was out there. That is out there. So you think about it. Think about it.
Well,
the only way that you can continue your
can't
presidency is through executive ordership, correct?
Exactly.
Right? Mm-hmm. So is that what we're going to do? Because you're thinking that you're really saving the country when I think, quite frankly, you're screwing it up. But you're saying you're going to save the country. That's your whole. They're not going to get rid of him like that. It's not that simple.
The only thing that can save us from executive order,
he's running the country as a business. He doesn't care about the American people. It's a business. It's a business transaction for him.
We can get saved from executive ordership by the Supreme Court.
Only by the Supreme Court. But what if the Supreme Court is under? It appears the Supreme Court is getting ready to honor that. That's the concern.
The problem with the Supreme Court and why they're honoring that, because they are all his appointees.
Think about it. So at the end of the day, could he get his way?
Yeah, and no. We can still the only way we can still keep fighting it is just taking it before the courts. And the longer you drag it out and the longer you appeal it, the longer it takes for it to go in order.
Yeah, but I have I could be wrong, but they may do a stay at that point. You know what I'm saying? Well, we got to have somebody in power, but we can't, right now he's saying, I don't even know.
I don't know. That, Well, we got another subject to talk about, folks, going forward.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in with us over here at Critical Conversations.
Okay. So what we're going to do, y'all, is we're going to take a quick break and we're coming right back at you, okay? Okay, everybody, welcome back. We're going to have part 2. All right. Lisa, I just wanted to King Crank, give us the next subject that we're talking about going into right now, which is the assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
Yeah, I didn't know. I thought I was a guest over here.
Hey, I'm gonna mess with you. I ain't seen you in a long time too. All right, Lisa, let's get started with you, honey, because I know you got a whole lot to say about that one. So
yes. So let's talk about this attempted assassination on Donald Trump. So allegedly, he's attempted to be assassinated, but I believe that it was his whole ploy to get reelected.
Okay. Let's take a look at that video. Okay. Hold on.
We've all seen the shocking video of a bullet grazing former President Trump's right ear. But now we're getting a look at the attempted assassination from all angles and the timeline of the events. Oh my gosh. From Trump's fist pump pre-shooting to the now famous fist pump Trump makes after gunshots rang out. We're now getting a new perspective on the shooting from behind the stage.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
And from inside the rally when people first sound the alarm.
He's on top of the roof. Don't go over there.
Plus, a look at the fallout when 3 other people are struck by gunfire.
One shot right here, Mike.
Okay.
So seeing the video, you can see where the shooting and everything occurred. But why is it that people are still standing around? Why didn't everybody flee when the gunshots start firing? You know, and it's sad that I believe that he did do this to get credibility, because when he's being taken off stage, he's throwing his hand up. He's like, it's the thing to do, and get the crowd going. Like, I'm not understanding this whole situation, you know.
And why not say, wait a minute, let me get my shoe?
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy.
And I know y'all saw that woman that I was telling you about, Lisa, that was standing there, that was right there with the daggone camera.
I'm trying to tell you, it was all a ploy. She was getting the video footage so she can sell it to the highest bidder.
My take on
looking at it.
Go ahead.
Everybody that was up there where he was, I would have been scattered and gone. I still wouldn't be standing there.
Most people.
Podium. Yeah.
Yes.
It's called that fight or flight type deal. Just saying.
Yeah. I'm gone.
Crank.
Look, I'm like anybody else to hear some shooting in the basketball court. I'm out of there, Jack. I ain't got time to be standing there trying to record nothing, looking around with no phone, trying to take no footage.
Nobody moved. They just ducked down for a few minutes, and then everybody was like, look, dude, you're in a club and shots start ringing in a club. What's everybody going to do? Run for the door.
Either run for the door or drop to the floor. I just know
these people wasn't going nowhere. And the people in the back of him, they sure enough didn't go nowhere. They stayed right there in their seats.
Who's to say there were real bullets? There could have been some rubber bullets or anything coming through there. Who's to know? Like,
well, all
I can say is when I first saw it, I thought it was staged. Like when I first my first reaction was like, is this staged? Because it just looked like a setup.
I want to see the ear right now. I want to see the scar on the ear.
It's not one. I already checked it, girl. Please.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just
I wanted to see part of his ear missing or something.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's the one who did that. I don't know if y'all caught that, but he did. Now I'm here, pal. Oh, I'm not gonna be looking like this. I'm not gonna be wondering where my shoe is. I'm going down to the ground and I'm crawling my way out.
When I first seen the video, it looked like he reached up and cut himself. Like, you know how they do on wrestling? Like, they got the thing where they do on wrestling where they do like a little cut with their own little slits or whatever with the razor blade in their hand, or you can have it cuffed and taped to his wrist or slits, and they do that.
Now that I think about it, okay, if the bullet nicked his ear, that just nicked it. Where did it go? It didn't hit nobody else behind him?
Killed. Okay, that was where Lisa and I were earlier today. We were talking about that.
Yeah, that's strange.
So there was a kill shot. There were three kill shots. Okay, you missed your target 3 times. There are 3, but you're supposed to be.
But how do we know that it was actually an attempt on his life and it wasn't actually for the 3 people that got killed?
How do we know that they weren't intentionally missing?
That's very good.
How do we know? How do we know that the whole setup was to get rid of those people and to make it look like it was an attempt on his life?
Like I said, it could have been intent. It could have been an ill intent to miss. And if you look at the video, even after a speech, I'm not trying to stand back, pump my fist. I'm trying to get my security. Get me out of here, Jack. Do what I pay you for.
Did you see the girl security guard? She's trying to get him off the stage, and he's too busy stopping. Yeah, American people.
That's where it becomes weird for me. That's where it becomes extremely weird. It's like
she's steadily trying hard to get. You can tell she's steadily trying hard to get him off that stage, and he's not trying to move. He's trying to get the American people.
Yeah,
like what? Like you're still campaigning, but your life is in jeopardy right now.
That part.
Yeah, you want it that bad,
right?
That you're risking your life.
Scared. Like you said, you would have left, but then you blame home security that you didn't have enough security.
No, you blame Homeland Security for not doing their jobs
I
too,
was about to say,
because
because
they
I
were
was about to
supposed
come
to.
out with it. Yep.
Yeah, they were supposed to cover all of that ground.
They ran
Now,
from him,
now
basically.
you know anybody if that was Obama, anybody over there, they would have had all of that blocked off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nobody even made it on top when been able to go around there and sneeze
But how
without
can you
somebody
miss
knowing
it?
somebody around that corner.
That part.
How do you miss that? I mean,
I
there's an
mean,
actual view. I don't know if you all seen it or not, and you all might want to check it out, but there's an actual view from this side of the fence, basically Trump's side, that actually shows the guy going back and forth. Here we go. Going back and forth. Well, hello there, sir. How are you? Welcome to Critical Conversations. How are you doing?
You must be talking about me. Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
All right, this is JD, everyone. He is coming to the stage. JD, tell us a little bit about you so we can then we'll go back to the conversation.
Okay, well, I'll leave the story. I just got out of prison last week. I'll tell you what's going on with me. I'm just somebody that's been in the radio and music business for a very long time, over 30 years, based out of New York. Um, Worked at a lot of the major nightclubs in New York. Worked at WBLS, the legendary legacy R&B station
Radio
in New York.
station. That's right. That's where I'm from, Queens.
Oh, okay, now I'm from Flatbush, Brooklyn, there, so
Okay.
that's me. So, played well. If you're from Queens, whenever you got your party on, I'm sure you party either Bentley's or the Silver Shadow or the Shadow
No,
nightclubs.
I actually,
You know.
after high school, I went straight into the Army.
Oh, okay, okay. But yeah, no. Played in all the major clubs in New York. Worked at WBLS for about 12, 13 years, and I worked for 4 years over at Sirius XM, what is now called the Heat Channel. Used to be called Hot Jams. I was on air personality there, and worked with a syndicated radio company called Super Radio, and I
Mm.
did 4 different mixes for them for about 10 years with over 25 stations. Then about 15 or so years ago, started my own independent radio promotion company called 1208 Promo. Work with a lot of independent artists that they have songs out or albums out in all the digital platforms like Apple Music and Spotify and Tidal and Amazon, but they don't know how to get radio airplay. So they get in contact with me, or I get in contact with them, and we just take it from there because I have a lot of great relationships with radio programmers around the country, a lot of mix show DJs as well, and work with a lot of great artists from all different formats, R&B, pop, gospel, smooth jazz, even some country projects. So just been busy on that end, and I've also done a lot of remix production with a lot of artists from songs from Keith Sweat's first album. So if you remember "Don't Stop Your Love, Make It Last Forever," I Wanna worked on that. Did the official single for TLC, "Unpretty." Did "Bootylicious" for Destiny's Child. I've worked with folks from Maxwell to the late Gerald Levert to Bootsy Collins to even doing a song with Liza Minnelli and Donna Summer. They did a song together before Donna passed away. So when folks say I've been doing this for a minute, I tell folks I've been doing this for an hour and a half. I've been in this game for a long time.
Understood. Well, we are in the middle of a topic right now, and that,
Okay.
of course, is referencing Donald Trump's assassination attempt and what everybody's theory or
When does it
thoughts are
happen?
or opinions. And as you notice, I got everything saying allegedly, so that, we're not saying it actually is, but we're just saying it's something to think about. So,
It's our perspectives.
yeah, it's from different perspectives. Exactly. So let's see, who was it that was about to speak? Lisa, you were talking, I believe, right?
Yeah, well, and like I said, all the people that was behind him and around him. But even when the incident happened and the Secret Service was on top of him, they were like, "Are we ready to move? Are we ready to move? 1, 2, 3," and nobody was moving.
That's what I thought was fascinating. I don't know about everybody, if you all check that out too, because I did notice that People were just sort of standing still, like not knowing
what to do.
And then, of course, again, I can't help it. I got to say it again. I'm going to cut my ear. Then I'm going to say, wait a minute, hold on. Let me get my shoe. But go ahead.
That part.
I'm sorry. Because I'm still trying to understand what was the urgency about that. The shoe.
Well, I don't know what the official procedure is, but my reference for Secret Service work, I always bring up when Ronald Reagan got assassination attempt. They, within seconds, once he was shot, they moved him to the car and they were gone. I'm assuming that's just the procedure to do it. Whatever they did with Trump, I mean, you thought he was gonna like sing a song afterwards. I mean, that's how long he was up there, and then just having him exposed to the public. I guess I'm showing his upper body. I mean, they just had a couple shots in that area. So why would you want to expose the quote unquote, most powerful person in the world to possibly something like that happen? I mean, that was just one, shooter. There could have been others planted. You don't know what the plan was for if it was one shooter or several shooters, different areas. So I don't understand, what happened. It shouldn't have taken him that long. With a matter of seconds, he should have been off the stage. No shoe, one shoe, whatever.
No shoe or shoe. It don't matter.
That's what we were saying. That's what we were saying. Like, he literally was forcing himself to be seen as the Secret Service was trying to forcefully take him off the stage. But he had to throw his hand up in the air and like let everybody know, the American people.
My question is why was he up there by himself? Normally, when you see a lot of these presidential debates or speeches and blah, 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 have you, they always got a bunch of people standing on either side.
Right beside you.
It'd be looking like they're in church holding up like a pulpit, right? Why was he just the only person up there? If you roll your footage back, Gloria, what is he up there?
I'm gonna. Yeah, let me go ahead. You all want to have me replay that footage? Would you all like to
replay
okay.
it?
All right. Hold on just a second. Let me go ahead and get that back up.
Well, you gotta ask yourself, like, why is he up there by himself?
All right, let's go.
What was the Secret Service?
Again, it must have been planned.
That's the way it is.
Where were all his supporters?
We've all seen shocking video of a bullet grazing President Trump's right ear. But now we're getting a look at the attempted assassination from all angles.
Where are all the people behind him?
Oh yeah.
Behind him and around him. You look how in the open he is.
He's very open. He's completely open.
You don't even got to split.
They only caught his ear.
How would the Secret Service even react fast enough to get you down from there to tackle you off that stage if something did happen to you? Even if a crazy person came up out that crowd to do something, how would they get to you fast enough to stop it?
That's the question. The thing of it is, you've given them, like, the Secret Service, it's going to take time now. Like you said, Crank, nobody's behind him. So it's going to take time for them to foul up there and get up on that stage with him. Then it's going to take time for them to get him off of the stage.
But he's so open like that, and you just got his ear?
Now, mind you, we're not talking about some regular random candidate running for president here. We're not talking about a Mitt Romney or Ron DeSantis or somebody now. We're talking about a former president that already should have a security detail around him. Right?
Absolutely.
What do you think about that? Don't they have Secret Service stationed right below the stage and because obviously he's hired, from the ground level, so I guess everybody could see him. But they usually have Secret Service right below him in front or in back, same position or probably at the foot of the stage.
Right.
I think that's really anybody, whether it be Kamala Harris or Trump, or even if Biden was on there. I mean, for me, I've rarely seen somebody on a stage like that, and Secret Service is 5 feet next to them. I think I've never seen.
Or
that.
Maybe even
they're in some proximity where if something happens, they like obviously they've practice to
Making
move
block.
real quick, real
Arms
quick if something
reach.
happened. But they just didn't move quick at all. They were taking their sweet
Right.
Yeah, I
time.
didn't even get to, we didn't, because that's a 27-minute video, so I didn't go through all that. But even toward the end, you'll see where I don't know if it's going to be this one, but I know there's some of those videos that are out there where you can actually see his Secret Service taking
His
off
detail.
running. They just taking off running. Like, I thought your job was to, well, I don't know,
Block.
put your life in jeopardy in order to
Yep.
cover your president. But
I
I
mean,
saw
I
Secret
think
Services running from him. So I'm trying to understand, how did that work? But go ahead, Crank.
we live in a different age now, where we used to, people that really, I guess, got those jobs and they took pride in those jobs. Like, I want to use an analogy. Like, when I go to a barber, I want a barber that loves cutting hair. I don't want a barber to cut my hair that's just cutting hair for money.
Right.
I want somebody that's going to do a good job on my hair because they love what they're doing, not just here for a check. Those guys ain't here. They're not there to protect the president. They're there for a check. You get me? That's not code of honor or commitment or what you getting paid for. That's hey, he gets shot. Let me save my own skin. Then we're gonna go up there and get him.
Then we can talk about it. Right. Exactly. What are you thinking, Evelyn?
I'm about the same. Like, if you're gonna do your job, I feel like Secret Service, Homeland Security, whatever, they took that job because they were to serve and protect.
Well, my philosophy is I still think that there was something up with the actual people that did pass away, bless their families for the situation. But it's kind of crazy that he got a little nick on the ear and three people actually did pass away and the audience never went anywhere.
Allegedly passed away.
Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly, because we haven't seen it.
Allegedly.
Where the bodies at? They don't even talk about them no more. Who is their families?
You saw me do that earlier. I was like,
yeah. Like, they don't talk about they talk about the January 6th more than they talk about them people getting shot.
And they
could be martyrs, right?
Right.
What do you think, JD? What's your thoughts on that one?
Well, the only thing that we've seen with any remnants of the family or one of the people that passed away, wasn't he a volunteer fireman? And at the RNC convention, didn't they have when Trump got on the stage, off the side of the stage, they actually had his fireman's jacket. And of course, to play that up, he walked over to it, gave him that stupid hug that he would do if there's like a flag on the stage. He'd go up and hug the flag. He hugged that, and I mean, I don't know if the family felt comfort in that. I thought it was just stupid, the theatrics, for that.
That was just corny. That was a stage play for him.
But unfortunately, there is a portion of the society out there in America that is, they love that. They love that, and they're behind that. Now, maybe, Evelyn would know, and I've told you this, Gloria. It's like, if you're from the New York, New Jersey area, we knew about Trump and his family since the 70s and how the Trumps roll. From his father, Fred, giving him all the money, the bone spurs, why he didn't serve, to the racial discrimination charges, to the Central Park Five. And even back then, all the stuff that he said he'd do up till the Obama birther, or any stupid stuff that he would say, even with the helicopter and the plane that just crashed. What was his first response to it? The reason of it was DEI. Really? Come on. I mean, we know the program. But unfortunately, I think a lot of America that got into Trump, they started getting into Trump when The Apprentice came on. They didn't know all that other backstory about.
They didn't know what happened before that era.
They just saw this loud guy in a suit and just said, like, you're fired, and just didn't care, what he said. And it's tied in with and you've heard me say this, Gloria, with the way the world rolls right now. It's like people want to see train wrecks. They're happy with that.
They love it.
If anybody says stupid stuff, I mean, for him to say somebody who's running for president and can, in a speech, say, I can walk down the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and nothing will happen to me. I mean, all the years that we've had, politicians, and this guy out of nowhere says that, and there's a segment of society had no problem with what he said.
I just want to know, when did it become okay for businessmen out of random thought just say, "Oh, I want to run for president"?
That
That
part.
part.
That part.
No political background whatsoever.
Because he
Well,
wants to run the United States like a business and doesn't care about the American people. That's why he's
well,
dismantling everything.
But
Everything
Yeah.
he's been involved when he's been the boss. He's never been the actual employee.
right.
So he hasn't, no one has told him to do this and do that. If anybody
mhm,
that probably told him to do this and that was probably his father Fred. And even then,
yeah.
he's been a spoiled, person since he was a kid.
Yeah. I feel like his attitudes, it's my way or the highway.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty. Yep. I honestly, you can see that in everything he does, even when his own partner, Elon, when his own partner goes against him, he's flipping out. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? If he thinks it's his partner that is basically taking over the position, that's where things begin to get a little weird. You know what I'm saying? Between those two.
I think
Like,
it was a bad move involving Elon Musk in the American disposition at this point right now.
yeah.
We already as a country facing uncertainty. And just when we look like we had some kind of some kind of ray of sunshine, because at one point in time, Trump was looking like he was carrying some kind of banner of bringing
Listen.
America back. Like, I was feeling the vibe for a minute there. I'm like, okay, yeah, Trump, yeah, let's get it, baby. Get old Spooky Joe out the way here. He ain't did nothing, you know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I mean, I felt bad for the brother because the brother just was not well. Okay, and we all saw that. We all saw it. So I'm like you, Crank. I felt the same way. But go ahead.
Their election, the whole election just took it out of Biden. Like, he was well all up and through the campaign, great. Even through when he was on, I don't think he was doing that well when he was with Obama. Because it looked like he was sick then. And then you gotta think about how old these people are, man. These people old as hell.
Well, you know what? I think you should run for president next, Crank.
Me?
Yes.
I'm old as hell now. I ain't.
But that's okay. That's okay.
Look, I'm old school. I'm gonna be up there talking about whoop. Look, I'm my belt off and whoop these. Look.
Hey, it's okay though, right? It's okay. Because it seemed like the going age now is 79, 80. So
I know, right?
Man, shit.
And you got to make sure that you're, I'm gonna be quiet because I'm
too black for the chill. Hey, look. Black History Month. We're gonna have about 3 of them this year.
Oh, can I help you? Can I say something before you even holler black? Allegedly, that's going to be a thing of the past.
Oh, we're gonna get rid of Black History Month.
Well,
Black History.
I mean, look,
you might as well get rid of all the holidays.
Well, Arlington. I got to bring this up. Arlington National Cemetery, where all the veterans are. He is dismantling that website for Hispanics, Blacks, and women veterans. They will no longer be on that website. So what's that mean? They're no longer in the cemetery?
Allegedly. We're going to say the allegedly because it is out there. It's out there.
Allegedly, what does this do? What are you proving by taking this stuff down?
It's called segregation. Modern time segregation. That's what we are.
So that goes back into saying, okay, I see y'all voted to want to take off our monuments and our statues, so we're going to
started a few years ago. Did anybody ever notice? Did anybody notice when they started dismantling all of the statues and everything that were around?
Yeah.
So it already started. It had started preparing itself for this guy anyway. I think everybody knew that this was going to be the next one. Project 2025. The one he said it wasn't going to do. What's going on? What's happening?
Doing everything he said he wasn't going to do. And you know what's funny? Everybody was hollering about Trump. But where's Nancy Pelosi at? Where's she at? She was our champion, wasn't she? Where's she at now? We need those voices from them GOPs and all those people to step up, but we don't got them right now. War to Mitch McConnell's.
Mm-hmm.
But you notice those names you mentioned, they were kind of like in the first Trump cycle. Now this cycle, if you look at everybody that's involved directly or indirectly with Trump or his administration, they're like a younger version of him, where they don't care and they're following whatever his footsteps in. I mean, we don't hear Lindsey Graham a lot anymore. We don't hear Mitch McConnell a lot anymore. We don't hear Rand Paul a lot anymore. But the first, when he was 45, we heard about all of them. You know, now the people that are around him, either they are just, I guess, the new age that love what Trump does and say that they just don't care, you know, and they're just gonna say whatever, or they have no experience. I mean, look at somebody who runs the biggest army in the world. Well, his past job was being the host of a show on the weekend on Fox News.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's what it's looking
I'm
like.
sure everyone knows that being in the I'm sorry, what was he? He was just National Guard, right? It wasn't like he did like 3 tours in Afghanistan or
Right.
something like that.
Right.
Not even that's
You know,
yeah.
but
you're
now
right.
what he's leading the largest or the most forceful, you know, armed forces in the entire world. You get something like that, who's already messing up with this this text thing that's now, you know, that happened today, where this reporter somehow he winds up on the text with all these important people from Hegseth to Rubio and all of them. It's like, how does he get on there? And they're talking about, you know, secret information that we shouldn't know about.
Right.
Right. That should
That's
have been
the
done in person and
crazy
not through
part,
a
though.
text app.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's the crazy
exactly.
part about
that's
it.
the crazy part.
But you know
Exactly.
what's funny? We don't have those people in place no more. A lot of those names that you mentioned too, because he's put them around him now. Because you remember, we used to, the Rubios and all those guys used to speak out about him. Now he done gave them cabinet and office positions.
Well, a few of them got rid of, like Nancy Pelosi. She didn't have anything great to say about him.
I mean,
where she did initially.
We know me.
See, that's
as a
what
man,
happens. That's what happens.
I'm
It's
just
like
saying from
people are going to say whatever they can say to get the votes. That was the way, and that's why I was like, why isn't everybody paying attention to this? This man is saying everything you want to hear, but then when the office is taken, when he does what everything else, you can see the trueness of who he is and what
he's gaslighting everybody.
Yeah. Wolf in sheep's clothing.
Pulling the wool over everybody's eyes.
They gaslighted that whole meeting with Zelensky because Trump didn't really even say a word. They had some speaker sitting there gaslighting Zelensky the whole way through. The man can barely even get a word out because by the time he started talking now, Zelensky could have went in there with a different mindset. But I think off the beginning, he sensed that he was being attacked.
Hostile. I mean, it was a hostile environment that he walked
into. It was a hostile, very hostile interview.
And the way that I'm not even trying to be rude, but the fact that you allowed your vice president to really disrespect this particular leader. Right. And you know the situation that we're all in right now. You just incited something that's going to be bigger than what any of us can really handle at this moment. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's,
I mean, you supposed to be the vice president. Dan Rathers all of a sudden.
Right. You got Canada. Right. You got your Canada folks now. I mean, has anybody heard what the president of Canada or whoever?
Hey, he said he's going to start turning off some lights.
Yeah.
He said he's going to start turning off some lights.
They're not getting down with those tariffs and all of those trade embargoes and all that.
And he said that him and Donald Trump was friends. He said, but now this is against Donald, and he's gonna start turning off. Allegedly, I should say allegedly, but he said he's gonna turn off some lights.
Don't worry, that word allegedly is right here at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, he said he's gonna turn off some lights.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we've been hearing. Whether it's true, everyone, we don't know. But from what we've done in our investigation and the things that we've been listening to, we're finding out a lot of this information is coming to light. Yeah. Everything remains to be seen.
Crank, let me ask you. Crank, let me ask you. You're a man. I'm a man. This is me personally. If somebody, president or not, but someone that's got access to media, worldwide media, and they've called you and your family and everything, everybody else connected with your family, every name in the book. And then he gets elected again. Well, let's just say he's elected and he wants you to be the Secretary of State. Would you take the gig after he basically embarrassed you? I'm talking about Rubio, you know,
Mm-hmm.
when he was, I'm not that hungry for a gig. I don't care if he's working, at that level. I'm sorry. It's
Yeah.
like,
It's not even that
it's like,
serious.
No,
bro,
it's not that
you
serious.
embarrassed me, and am I gonna like forget about that? Again, it's just me.
Right.
But as a man, I mean, would you be that hungry to take the job as Secretary of State and remember what he said about you, 6 years ago?
Well, coming from no, I don't think I probably could.
I was waiting for it. I said, "Don't you dare! Don't you dare!"
He said, coming from a no.
No.
I'm like,
No. I mean, just my integrity come in question, man. You know what I mean? And I guess like to those that know me, they know I wouldn't let that slide. I wouldn't let that fly. I mean,
You don't even have to be a man to answer that question. If you had any kind of common sense in the real
No,
world,
not necessarily. Lisa, gotta think now. We living in a different day and age, man.
crazy
Some people
world.
now look at that. What he just said is a reflection on what men are today to some people, and what he looks like to some people being a man, and that's weak. That's a big sign of weakness right there.
exactly.
That is a big sign of weakness, and to me, that is a play on words when you say what a man
That shows
is
desperateness.
today, because that shows weakness. And I like the fact that he asked me that question, because like I said, it comes into question your integrity. It comes in your whole integrity comes into question, your whole manhood comes into question when you get out there, when you get called out like that. Now, we're talking about politics here. Now, politics is based around debate, right? So we're looking at it from a debating standpoint. Where does it get personal? The attacks get personal because you know the facts about people. You got these fact checkers, and then you got what you call your private eyes and your investigators, the people that work for your campaign that's going out here digging up. So then you using these fact checks for that would be opponent back then. So yeah, to answer his question, no, I don't think I would take that seat. I'll probably take a seat in jail.
What about you, Evelyn? As a female, you too, Lisa, as a female.
Oh no. Oh no.
No way.
No. It comes to a point where you have to look at real life. You know what I'm saying? And like in a real life situation, you let this person disrespect your family. And it's like you ran back to him like a lost puppy.
I work for a corporation now. And I'm real close with the owner of our company. And do I kiss butt now? No. Yeah. Because I feel like as a man, I stand on business on what I say and what I believe in. If I say something, if I put my foot down.
What about you, JD?
I'm sorry. Even we never heard Trump talk about it, but even as a year and a half, 2 years ago, Vance was calling Trump everything
but the child of
in
God.
The world.
Exactly.
There's
exactly.
many videos that have been shown. When it came down to,
hey, you want to be my vice president?
I'm gonna do this again.
Exactly. and right now, he's kind of like, I think he's being played because in the first 2 months, we all know who has been kind of like, quote unquote, the vice president is that dude from South Africa who's getting more light, getting more shine. I mean, have we seen a picture of Vance in the Oval Office with his kid on his shoulder?
Well,
I mean, just going back to me being alive and seeing things in the White House politician, business person, you've never seen. I mean, how much disrespect that just to the office of the
That was
president, the kid
horrible.
Trump.
Mm-hmm.
To
You
me,
know,
that was a horrible exchange.
Yeah.
even the kid, his kid turned around to me. I forgot what he said, but I was like, he actually said that to him.
You're not president. My dad is. I help you out
That
with that
part,
one.
that part. And then he's
I
got
missed
the little
that.
kid getting ready to get on the plane.
Oh yeah, he's babysitting now. He
Yeah,
babysitting his
babysitting.
child.
Where we do this
So
at?
I'm like, when did my president? No, that's not even.
I just feel like a lot of protocol. I feel like a lot of protocol.
It's out the window.
Yeah, what she said.
It really is. No matter the way you looked at a president, say before this term, is a complete polar opposite of what we're seeing right now. You know what I'm saying? Of what we saw then. It was a lot. But you could say, I was no disrespect, but maybe it is. Ever since the DT got involved, looked like to me, it has been a complete, the presidency has been a complete joke.
I think ever since
Lowe's opinion,
the Obama's turn, I think it's been a joke.
it has been that. What do you think, Lee?
Exactly.
It's been a joke.
Evelyn? It's a joke.
Yeah.
What do you think, JD?
Well, Crank, you just said since Obama's turn's been a joke, but did something happen during his term or two terms that?
Reason why I say it's been a joke during his, because it became. If you look at it, like back in I come from a Reagan, I guess a Reaganized era, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where the presidency had respect, it had integrity. Yeah, it was kind of shrouded by mysticism and and secrecy, but it wasn't. But internally, everything was taken care of within our country.
Right.
We stuck our necks in other countries' business, but when we did it, it was like, okay, this is what we're doing it for. Either cease or desist, or we're gonna blow your asses, blow you smithereens over here. You know what I mean? Blow you up out of here. So it's like it's different now because we don't live in this type of world where our executive order for taking over a country works like that. What I mean is, when I said it started as a joke in his era coming out of his term, I think it's because it became more about ratings on TV. It was about TV ratings, and it was about who had the most money at that time. That presidential election was centered around money. Who had the biggest budget? He had way more money than Bernie.
Behind him than the other guy,
right?
Biden,
and then everybody and his whole presidential campaign had money. So, and then when you look at the presidential, I'm gonna really break it down how that vote count worked. Like, people always say, get out and vote, get out and vote. You can hang me, burn me, lynch me, I don't care. Voting don't matter. Vote don't count. Vote don't matter. It's all just a popular vote. Just because it's our opinionated vote on who we want as a president. I went down there with Lisa when we went to go vote for Hillary, and doing that campaign with Trump. I know I put on that vote ballot. Lisa tell you they changed my vote ballot. Everybody I voted for that was pretty much Democrat, they changed my ballot. They changed it and put who they wanted as I voted for. I didn't vote for Trump. But going back to this Obama thing, now he was a great person, as a great president. It's all good, great for all for it. We got a black president, but they did that just to shut us up, so we can't complain and fuss about not having anything else no more in life. Okay, black people, what you gonna do now? We done gave you a black president. How you gonna act
they need
now?
to give us a woman president now.
We had her with Kamala Harris. We basically had a woman president.
But I mean, to interrupt you, Cramp, but you know what's so funny? Yeah. Hillary Clinton, from what the historians have said, if you look at what she's done, the offices that she's had, she was basically the most qualified person to be president, male or female, ever.
And they know it. and they knew it, and that's why they took that from
Power
the
from her. They
protocol.
kept her from doing
Yeah,
it.
and you know what they used against her? Abortion rights.
Yeah,
Right.
they wanted he knew he would lose against that woman.
Yeah.
Trump knew he would lose. That's why he has so much evil stuff to say about her. And
Mhm.
then
And
Kamala Harris saying same
they
thing.
used abortion rights against her.
And her emails and all of her little dealings, personal dealings with countries and all that, they have no right to dig in all that stuff. Because that's the case, you can go back and point to everybody that was emailing people back and forth.
I'm sure.
Doing
I'm
things.
sure we can find
A bunch of
all of that.
Oh, like
emails.
this one that just happened with the signal and the war thing. Oh yeah.
Right. You know, but that be on their watch though. They
Mhm.
hold that accountable, and they held that so much accountable. Now look at this man; he's on trial for sexual assault.
That part.
That's what's crazy. And they got him on film. Grabbed the woman by the.
You got paid prostitute people. You done paid to shut money up. I mean, it's all on document. You got proof of it. The Stormy Daniels chick. You didn't.
It's all there in black and white.
Yep.
Well, color. In color. It really is.
Yep.
You know.
But you mean
Well,
to
I'm
tell
gonna
me
let
couldn't
you all
let
give
Bill
your final
Clinton?
thoughts. Huh?
You mean to tell me you couldn't let Bill Clinton get it again?
Well, you know what? They got so much against poor Bill. Bill was no disrespect, but I just didn't know what her doing what she did to him had anything to do with his ability to run as president.
But that's where it all starts, though.
That's where I'm
really want to go
confused
way,
right there.
really want to take it back, take it way back to that part right there.
Yep. Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah, way back then. That's where it really all started to be commercialized.
Yep.
Where they broke
But
the
they use that as
presidency
part
down.
of a qualifying chapter in his life, and I'm like, this man literally came. I mean, first of all, we never saw Monica Lewinsky with Clinton, so we never saw that visual, right? Of course, we wouldn't want to, but let's just say that. But then when it comes down to Donald Trump talking to some of his wingman at the helicopter, well, let's just go ahead and grab him by the pussy. So you actually said that. We saw you say that. We were right there when you said that. In terms of what happened with Clinton and Monica, hey, it may have happened. Hey, did it?
Allegedly.
It may. That's why I use that word, may. It may have happened.
I mean, she
But
was allegedly an Israeli spy, though, wasn't she?
I mean, but even with her, that was what, 92?
Yeah, that was years.
2000 when he with. That's like what, 30 plus years, and she's still getting her 15 or 16 minutes.
She truly is.
But she got a
They
podcast.
capitalized off of that.
But see, that goes back to like I was saying. It's been the whole presidency has been prorated and commercialized now, and it has become like a tangible quantity of okay, if you're the president, then this is where you're going to be as the top business executive of the world now. You know what I mean? You're just running world trades and taking over goods.
That's really what we're doing. That's what this whole thing is about. Yeah. Like you said in the very beginning, money, money, money.
And what
even when Obama started,
we need to wrap this up. I don't mean to cut everybody off, but we need to wrap this up. Let's get everybody's final thoughts on tonight's conversation, critical conversation of politics and perspectives. And let's go with the final words.
All right, let's let JD or King Crank or Evelyn start that whole shebang off.
I got y'all, man. I just want to know about what is. I know we talked about a lot, but going into the next segment, what's up with these minerals? What is this mineral deal?
Okay. Evelyn, what you got?
Yeah, I'm kind of on that with him, but and this is what Ukraine as well, right? You talking about?
Yeah, Ukraine, and they're trying to do some deal with Russia too, you know. So it's like getting different countries involved. Like, what is this mineral?
I would like to know that too, and how did our president decide that he would be the one to say you stop and you stop separately, not together. You talk to them separately.
Yeah, exactly.
JD?
Well, we know what the Constitution says. 2 terms and that's it. everything that he has done, from asking about the minerals to whoever is going to buy TikTok, he has suggested, how the government could be involved with that sale. We can, maybe the government can own half of it, which to me amazing to me. It's like, if you buy something, then I'm the owner. Why you got to be a part of my business? But Trump wants a
Privatize.
part of it. You know, he'll disguise it as the presidency or United States. But if this is it for him, he's trying to go out guns blazing. He's trying to get a piece of everything, and he'll figure out a way how he can transform it into actual liquid cash or whatever, or offshore banks, or let Don Jr. be a part of it, because they even started rumors about him might run in 2028. We don't know, but he's like, if this is it for him, he's trying to go out, trying to get everything.
Okay. Lily, what's your thoughts, Lisa?
Well, my thoughts are that the world is going to hell in a handbasket. That's all. There's nothing else to say. I mean, it's just going to hell in a handbasket.
Pack the ice water.
Yeah, please.
I'm trying to tell you.
That's
so, but I wanted to thank everybody that was on the panel tonight. I wanted to thank everybody that came on our first episode of Critical Conversations, and our next episode of Critical Conversations is going to be Facts and Fictions of Hollywood, which is going to be episode 2 on April 8th at 8 p.m. So I hope you guys come back and join us, because we're going to have some stuff for you. Gloria.
And also, if you're new to,
What'd you say? We get to hell, we're going to have a picnic. See, we're going to hell in the handbasket. So we get to hell, we're going to have a picnic.
You do know where that word picnic came from, don't you, Crank?
Huh?
You know where that word picnic came from, don't you, Crank?
Nah, that's too deep, man. We ain't going way back there.
We can go there. We can go there. But anyway, listen.
We be talking about Emmett Till next.
Huh?
We talking about Emmett Till next.
Oh no, I ain't. That's deep. Yeah. Anyway, listen, I want to thank everybody as well. Lisa, thank you so much for everything that you've done to try to help prepare for this show. Evelyn and Crank, JD, you know what? I loved it. Loved the conversation. I think it was great. Do I think that everything we talked about was a legend? Who knows? There's only one way to find out. That's if you go ahead and subscribe to this channel. And maybe you'll find out even more about what we're doing. Okay. Anybody else got anything to offer? Because if not, we're going to just say
good night.
Good night. Good night. Okay.